All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about something pretty unique, a brand new power company called HAZECO. Now, what makes this so interesting is that it wasn't dreamed up in some corporate boardroom. Nope, this company was born out of a community's decades-long fight to control its own electricity. It's a fascinating story.
So everything really kicks off with this one simple but honestly pretty powerful question. What actually happens when a whole community says, hey, we want to manage our own power? Well, in Pakistan's Hazara region, the answer was kind of revolutionary. They built an entirely new utility from the ground up, designed specifically for their needs.
And you gotta understand, this wasn't some sudden decision that came from the top down. Not at all. This was the result of what local people called a long-standing demand. We're talking about a grassroots movement that had been building for decades, really fueled by a community that just felt like its voice wasn't being heard.
Okay, so to really get why this change was such a huge deal, we first need to look at what the old system was like. What exactly were they replacing? For decades, one company powered the whole region, PESCO, the Peshawar Electric Supply Company. Now, PESCO is a massive utility, but here's the catch. Its headquarters were in Peshawar. That's a city far, far away from the unique, mountainous landscape of Hazara. For the residents, this meant that decisions were being made by a distant authority, one that couldn't always get a handle on the local challenges. You know, things like how a single snowstorm in a remote valley could cut off power for days.
So the solution they landed on was pretty bold. Why keep trying to fix the old system when you could just build a new one? And, well, that's exactly what they set out to do. The technical term for what they did is bifurcation. It sounds complicated, I know, but just think of it like this. A huge corporation spinning off a smaller, more nimble startup. PESCO was strategically split, which allowed this new company, HAZECO, to have one single laser-focused mission, serving the people of the Hazara region and nobody else. And look, this did not happen overnight. The whole process was incredibly deliberate. It started with a formal government approval back in June 2023, and then by October, the company was officially incorporated. But the real heavy lifting, that was all of 2024. That entire year was this massive undertaking of transferring all the assets and all the staff over from PESCO. It all led up to July 1st, 2025, the day HAZECO finally flipped the switch and became a fully independent company.
And this right here shows you the fundamental shift. Before, Hazara was just one of 6 administrative areas, or circles, all being managed from way out in Peshawar. Now, HAZECO is a dedicated company just for Hazara's 8 districts, with its main office planted right in the heart of the region, in Abbottabad. See the difference? We're talking local leadership, local knowledge, and real, true local accountability.
But you know, creating a company on paper is one thing. Actually running it, that's a whole different challenge. So let's take a look inside HAZECO to really understand the sheer scale of this new operation.
First, let's talk people. Pretty much overnight, HAZECO became responsible for getting electricity to roughly 1 million consumers. Just think about that for a second. That's a customer base that stretches from bustling cities all the way out to the most remote mountain villages.
And to serve all those people, HAZECO now manages a network of 27 high-voltage grid stations. These things are the critical hubs, right? They're the nerve centers that take in massive amounts of power and basically form the backbone of the entire regional system. Then for that last step, getting the power from the grid to individual homes and businesses, the company operates over 13,500 transformers. I mean, that number alone just paints a picture of this vast, intricate network they need to keep the lights on across such a diverse landscape. So who makes all of this happen? Well, the company is structured in these clear tiers, organized by what's called the Basic Pay Scale, or BPS, which just signifies seniority. At the very top, in the highest BPS grades, you've got your senior management, the CEO, the chief engineers, setting the big picture strategy. Right below them are the division heads. These are the experienced engineers who manage different parts of the region. And then most importantly, you have the massive field staff, the thousands of linemen and technicians out on the ground every single day, quite literally keeping the lights on. But here's the thing. The vision for HAZECO was never just to be a new version of the old company. It's being built from day one to be a modern, digital-first utility.
A perfect example of this is their new mobile app. So instead of waiting around for a paper bill in the mail or having to stand in some long line to report a problem, customers can now track their bill in real time, they can check out their energy use, and they can file a complaint instantly, right from their phone. It's a huge shift toward being more transparent and way more convenient.
And the app is really just the start. The company has this long-term plan they're calling Vision 2030, and the goal isn't just to maintain the grid they have now, but to build a smarter one. That means bringing in new technologies to make the whole system more reliable and more efficient for everybody. So, what does this all actually mean for the people of Hazara? Why does one new power company matter so much? Let's talk about the real-world impact here.
It really all boils down to these three main pillars. First up, improve service. When you have a local team, your response times for outages just get faster, which is absolutely critical in those remote valleys. Second, economic growth. Stable, reliable power is essential for the region's key industries, like tourism and manufacturing. And finally, regional autonomy. The people of Hazara now have a direct say in their own energy future.
And so the story of HAZECO kind of leaves us with this really fascinating question. We've just seen how one community literally took back control of its power grid. It really makes you wonder, is localizing critical infrastructure like this, giving control back to the community, the ultimate key to unlocking a region's true full potential? It's a powerful idea to think about.